You are now listening to the Art of Winning show with your host and co-host, Eddie Truck Gordon and Miyoko Taylor, two best-selling authors. Eddie Truck Gordon is New York Emmy award-winning fighter, UFC Ultimate Fighter champion. Miyoko Taylor is a celebrity personal development coach and thought leader. Both have mastered the art of winning. It's never too late to tap into your amazing, and remember, success has no age limit.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You are now listening to the Art of Winning show. Again, this is your host, Miyoko Taylor. I'm always often joined by my amazing co-host, the amazing Eddie Truck Gordon is in the house, and we have a special treat for you today. This actually particular lady, we were actually talking when we were off the air, offline, and I listened to this woman's TEDx and I was completely blown away. You guys can't see me, but I'm literally smiling right now.
I'm mad at you, Miyoko. I told you I want to do research on it.
Her TEDx was absolutely amazing. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the amazing Joanna Lohman, a professional soccer player for the Washington Spirit. Welcome, Joanna.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I am humbled and flattered to be a part of this podcast and the art of winning. I can't say I've won very much in my career, but hey, I'll try to give tips on how to potentially get there.
All right.
I love it. I love your authenticity. I'm going to start off first. I told Miyoko I'm not going to ask too many questions, but I have a whole bunch of it written down. First and foremost, I want to just come up and ask right away, what motivates you? Because you seem, and from what I see, you're like always upbeat and motivational.
Right.
What kind of inspires you? What motivates you? Because and I said, this is a trick question. This is a trick question too. So shoot.
One of my favorite quotes was by Steve Prefontaine, the famous runner in Oregon, and he said, "To give anything less than your best was to sacrifice the gift." And I truly believe that all of us have a gift, a very unique gift to offer to this world. And I take that responsibility very seriously. So I want to really exude positive energy. And I try to live that. I try to live at my best. And of course, we all know that some days are better than others, but to give maximum effort in everything that I do and trying to stay present in those moments is really what motivates me. And I think I understand that it's really difficult to be great at something, but the process of aspiring to be great is in itself, what brings me fulfillment. So every day that I get to do what I love and chase the soccer ball is such an opportunity for me to be great in that single day. So I consider myself very lucky.
I love it, and I'm sorry, but you completely just destroyed my trick question. I said, you destroyed it. The reason I said what motivates you and it's a trick question is because I tell people it's a big difference between motivated and driven. And driven is an everyday thing. And what you just said is not even motivation. You are driven for success.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's the best thing. Every day, consistently living at your best. So you just destroyed my trick question. Like you're the real deal. You're the real deal.
It's amazing because I was just talking to someone before we got on this podcast about truly what the art of winning is. And most people don't understand it's the process that comes before the winning. It's the art form, it's the action, it's the activity. And what you said just resonated so much with me. So I have to get you to talk about this because like I said, I listened to your TED Talk and I'm a big proponent of people understanding that success is an inside job and success is individual to each and every one of us. And we all have our versions of what that is. And you really reached out and said some heartfelt things on the TEDx talk that I saw. And I'm hoping that you just talk about just a little of it. One of the phrases that you said is something about making $18,000 a year, but doing something that you absolutely love. And so can you just touch on that? I think that'd be so valuable for our audience.
Yeah, I would love to. I make a little bit more than that now, but yeah. And I think I have the opportunity to do what 99.9% of the women around the world have zero opportunity to do. I'm a female professional athlete, and that is such a privilege. And every day that I go to work, I never want to take that privilege for granted. so, my TED Talk was essentially about understanding that the road to the top is an uncomfortable one. We have to overcome a lot of challenges, a lot of hurdles. The women's professional soccer world is not glitz and glamour. It's a lot of grit. It's a lot of putting up with circumstances that aren't necessarily ideal. But for me, that's with the understanding I have this opportunity to, through the sport that I love, to deeply affect another human being. I think as a professional athlete, you have a platform to make an incredible difference. And that's something that I want to do every single day when I step on the field, is to be my authentic, real, true self, so that people feel more comfortable with who they are. And I've been able to travel the world, as you guys saw in my TED Talk, being able to play the sport and to coach the sport and to really shape individuals through the game of soccer. And that is something that provides me so much fulfillment. And, the fulfillment doesn't come from the successes necessarily, but it comes from being able to do what I love every day, and almost the grind of it. As you guys know, it's a 24/7 job, and it's blood, sweat, and tears, but I'm putting all of my effort towards something that really sets my soul on fire.
I love it. And obviously I'm biased because being a professional athlete as well, I was
waiting for you to chime in, Eddie. I was waiting for you to time.
Do you see how well disciplined I am? I'm getting better at this. I literally was salivating at the chops, because I tell people all the time, like, being a professional athlete, people do not realize what goes on, when nobody's watching, when the lights are not on. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of pressure, especially the more success, quote unquote, that you have. There's a lot of pressure. And when I first met Miyoko, he said, I'm going to change more lives. And I was like, listen, I'm an entertainer. I'm touching many lives. I have a huge fan base. I felt like there was nothing else. But what you said, Joanna, is so, so beautifully put, because we have a platform. And if we're able to change and shape somebody's life, that's the win. That's the ultimate legacy that we're going to leave. I don't know about you, but I feel that once I'm old and decrepit, I can't fight no more, everybody's going to forget about me. That's not going to be my legacy. It's not going to be how many fights I win, how many cars I drive, how many homes I own. It's going to be how many people I can touch. And from hearing you speak, I can like sense it. I can feel it. You are authentic. And that kind of leads up to my next question, because I'm like beaming. Now, and we, like you said it, we have tons of obstacles, but what do you feel is the biggest obstacle that you've ever overcome, or the biggest obstacle you're encountering now? Because obstacles, I feel, make us successful. What are you dealing with, or dealt with, or dealing with?
Yeah, I love the term, you said legacy. And looking back to answer your question, at my legacy, I think the greatest challenges that I have overcome are, I've failed a lot. And, quote unquote, the perception of failure. I have lost devastatingly in championship games. Just last season, I tore my ACL in the first game of the season. I had a year-long recovery from that. I've been cut from the women's national team just before a World Cup. I've never won a championship. So the obstacles that I have overcome is, sometimes it's humiliating not to play in a game, not to win a championship. It's the injuries, it's the setbacks, really. And I really believe that I have been successful because of overcoming those failures. I think those losses and understanding how to be a good loser and how to pick yourself back up when you've fallen down and people are counting you out is what has built my character. And I feel like now I'm incredibly resilient. Anything could happen to me because I've been through it all, right? And I've been so high and knocked down at my knees that now I feel like I can get through anything. And I think those are the greatest obstacles, is when you feel like you've really failed.
You're a world changer. You're a world changer. Get me, I'll keep going.
I'm over here just like in a stance where I'm like playing football and I'm ready to sack the quarterback, right? Because she's saying so many amazing things, and I think people don't understand the reality of what it takes to be successful. We have to encounter these obstacles and these adversities to mold our characters. Because you said a huge word, being resilient, and you said driven, Eddie, but those things do not come until you overcome a lot of the garbage that we have to go through in our lives. And you said something, you're at the point where you're not afraid of failure.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge. We all have to get to the point, if you're striving to be successful in anything, you have to get to the point where you look at failure and say, I know it's going to happen because it's part of the learning process. Yes. I don't learn, and you can attest to this and definitely give some feedback. I don't learn the most wisdom from being successful in the magazine articles and all that stuff. All of my wisdom, most of it has come from when I've been down, when I've been depressed, when I've gone through the adversities in my life. I really think that's where the gold is, where you really have to pay attention and be self-aware to what's going on at that particular period in your life. No, and I can see it when I look at you. You're in this space where it's just like, whatever. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna do this. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna do that. And eventually I know that I'll come out on top. And that's such a freeing feeling, and it's really no feeling like it. So, I mean, this is blowing my mind. We often say that, how are we going to top the next episode? We say this all the time. Every episode, somebody comes on and brings us something even more, valuable. So
I need to take you guys everywhere with me.
You're so easy. You're so easy to love. Like, honestly, what gets me, what I love about you, Joanna, is that when you're talking, I don't know about you, but you're getting exciting. I can see the passion when you're talking about it. And that to me is every single thing. Now, I want all the listeners to know exactly where they can find you. So I'm going to get this out of the way. I want you to give them your social handles, because they need to get your story. Like that's where they need to. Where could our listeners find you?
Yeah, I would love to share that. Instagram is Joanna Lohman 15. So it's JoannaLohman 15. And then on Twitter, I'm just at Joanna Lohman, and then Facebook, the same name. And I'd love to have people follow me. Like I've told you guys, I really try to share my life and share the struggle that we all go through. When I tore my ACL, I was very open and honest with my recovery process of how hard that was. How much effort it took for me to overcome that injury. And so I want to share the successes and the hardships, so people realize that they're not alone in what they're going through.
I love it. I love it. I don't know if you realize it yet, but honestly, I see you as a trendsetter. I see you setting the world on fire, being an amazing public speaker, being a motivational speaker. I see that in your future. What is next for you? And I hate to say next as if like you're closing a chapter, because you never close a chapter. You just keep adding chapters onto that legacy, onto that book. So what is in store for you?
Yeah, I mean, I love that question, because I think about it all the time, and I really try to expand my career off the field. I do a lot of speaking engagements. I actually spoke at the latest Women's March here in Washington, D.C. I spoke on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in front of a large crowd, and got them to chant Beyonce lyrics with me. So that was probably one of the best moments of my career.
That's awesome.
So I do. I want to motivate. I want to inspire. I want to use my career as a platform to make other people feel more comfortable in their own skin. I think that's something that's really important to me, is that people feel loved and accepted and worthwhile. People from all different backgrounds, and also too, using soccer as a vehicle for that. So traveling overseas, I run a lot of programs with the State Department as a sports envoy. I recently traveled to Indonesia in January, and I've been around the world. I've been to Africa twice, running programs a lot towards women's empowerment and towards youth. So I think it will be, using my sport and also to what my experience is to really guide and help people that are coming behind me.
Awesome. So I'm stealing this from you, Eddie. I'm stealing it from you today, buddy. So here's the big surprise.
All right.
We firmly believe that all this motivation, you gave us so much valuable stuff today, but we believe in leaving people with something applicable that they can apply immediately in their life. So what we do on every show is we allow the guests to issue me, Eddie, and everybody listening a challenge.
Okay.
Something that we can do immediately, something that we can apply immediately, that's going to be instrumental in transforming our life. So the platform is yours, Joanna. Let us have it.
All right, this is a great question. And, the way that I've looked at my career recently, I read a quote that said, the person that moves a mountain starts by carrying small stones. So when I think about what I want to do every day, I just think about carrying a small stone. And, days will pass and months and weeks and years. And then I can look back and I can think to myself, wow, I've really moved a mountain. And each individual will decide what stones are theirs to carry. And some will be incredibly heavy. Some will weigh so much that you think you're going to collapse underneath the weight. But if you keep putting one foot in front of the other and carrying those stones, you too will look back and realize that you've moved a mountain. So I guess my advice would be to figure out what your stone is, and you start by just picking it up and moving it 1 foot, and then go back and doing it the next day. And that starts by building good habits, make sure you're having a healthy lifestyle and taking care of yourself, right? Self-care is a huge thing for me of, am I really allowing myself to be at my best, and what decisions those will be, and self-awareness. So of really looking in the mirror. Mayoko, I was looking back on some of your Instagram posts, and I saw one that you said, I've finally looked in the mirror, and I wasn't necessarily happy with the reflection that was looking back at me and the changes you have made. And I think that's so brave, and I admire that so much, because you're willing to really put yourself in a position to self-reflect and analyze. So that may be a long-winded answer to your question.
No, this is golden.
I think you honestly, not to be no pun intended, but you killed two birds with one stone. Not only did you offer us a phenomenal challenge, self-reflection, look in the mirror and challenge yourself, but you also named this podcast. I don't know about you, but Carrying Stones, Moving Mountains, I think that's the name of this episode.
There it is. There it is.
That is the name
there
of
it
is. Like, I am so blown away. Honestly, you added so much value, because the second I knew that you're a professional athlete, I was a little bit biased. I was like, oh my gosh, one of our own is coming on. Yeah. I'm super excited. And it's like, you embody what I would, as a kid, what I would love to see in a professional athlete. A lot of times, people say they get all excited. Oh, you got a blue check mark. That doesn't mean anything on social media. It's about engaging with the fans and building people up. And I can see that. I can see just how passionate you are about soccer, but more important, how passionate you are about life, about how you're using your platform for the right reasons. And that is amazing, absolutely amazing. So I got a random question for you. How is your knee doing? Like, how's that going for you?
Well, I just want to say thank you guys for saying such nice things. And it means a lot coming from the two of you.
Our pleasure.
And my knee, it's doing well, actually. I think at my age, I'm 35 now. I'm the oldest field player in the National Women's Soccer League. The knee is good, but then you got to worry about the rest of the body, right? And then all of a sudden it's like your ankle, your hips, so it takes a lot. Every day I'm doing, self-care, ice baths, foam rolling, all the kinds of important things that help your body to recover faster. But it's doing well. I think that I spent so much time in physical therapy. Just hours and hours and hours of trying to build up the muscle again and break out the scar tissue. So knock on wood, we have a game on Saturday, and I've been available for the whole season, and hope that trend continues.
Awesome. Oh my God, I'm super excited. You just made me a huge fan. Like, you just made me like
I have nothing to say, nothing to add, and usually we kind of wrap things up, but I am still stuck on the carrying the stone, and I'm going to take heed to your message, because that just instantly resonated with me. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not gotten anything from this particular episode, something is seriously wrong.
Then we'll just have to do another, right?
Oh my, I'm blown away. And honestly, thank you so much, Joanna, for coming on.
Yes, thank you.
Like, you gave, I love that. Move Mountains by Carrying Stones. That's amazing. Once again, listeners, you are listening to the Art of Winning show. You have to go and follow Joanna. Like, literally, we're going to put all of your social tags in the description, in the details. We're going to blast this out, and we are so honored to have you. I am super excited. I can't wait to see what's to come. Not just the athlete, but as the personal development coach you're going to develop too, the motivational speaker, and just to see how you're going to continue, because you're already doing it, changing this world.
Oh, thank you guys so much. It was really a pleasure to be on with you.
The pleasure is all ours. Have a great day, everyone.
Until next time, everybody.
Bye.